Nancy now.
Well, you are Nancy, but I'm in uniform.
Well, I haven't seen you with it off yet, Arthur.
Oh, no, I meant on official business. Well, you know what I mean.
Boring. Well, what do you know about this Inspector Pratt? He's a walking disaster by all accounts.
Well, not a lot. I did work with him once before, and it was here at Bagshot House. Frankly, I still got the scars. Nowadays, we'd like to keep him down at the station, sharpening pencils. I wonder if that's him now.
It sounds like.
Oh no! Oh, sit down somewhere. Let's get her back. Hold on, implying she's got wind, of course.
I'll be all right in a while, dear. The nausea will pass shortly.
Yes, please bring to the chair.
Oh, one mustn't be too careful, Miss Maple. You might have broken something. There you are.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. What on earth has happened, Miss Maple?
Oh, it was nothing, just a slight accident. I'm sure the inspector didn't intend any harm.
Are you responsible for this?
No, it's just an unfortunate motoring incident, that was all. Mrs. Maypole was incorrectly positioned and I touched her up the rear end.
I was on the verge, Inspector.
On the verge of what?
On the grass verge.
Exactly, and if you'd been correctly positioned in the road, then I would have missed you by a mile as I exited through the hedge. No harm done, hardly a scratch on my bonnet. Oh, these are for you. I'm sure the constable here will fetch the rest of the bits of your bicycle at some point. Perhaps these good people could lend him a dustbin for the pieces. Meanwhile, I have bigger fish to batter. They were with you, constable?
Sir.
Oh, dear, now, I'll fetch you a hot, sweet drink, Miss Maple. One forbids you to move until one returns.
Thank you.
So, are all the inhabitants of the house here?
I'm not quite sure, sir. I think there might be a couple not here, missing.
Missing?
Well, not here at the moment, sir.
Ah, indeed, indeed.
Sir. Sir.
Ah, yes. Do I recognise you?
We don't know, sir. We worked once together before. You called me Thompson.
I see, and that's your name, is it, eh? Thompson?
No, sir. It's Tompkins.
Well, then why do I call you Thompson?
We really, really don't know, sir.
Anyway, allow me to introduce myself. I am Detective Inspector Pratt. Yes, I thought that would impress you. Now, may I have your name, please, and your circumstantials?
Circumstantials, Inspector.
Yes, the circumstantials that have brought you to this house.
Oh, I see. I'm Mrs. Nancy Allwright. I moved here several months ago when I inherited the house from my late father.
Right. See. And when do you expect him to return?
My father? Well, I don't. He's dead.
I think that's what you meant by late, sir.
That's all right, thank you. Thank you. So, how's your father? Who was your father?
Colonel Charles Craddock. I believe you knew him.
Ah, yes. Yes, I knew him very well. But why are you trying to deceive me? Colonel Craddock lived next door.
This is next door, sir. Bagshot House, all of it.
You're trying to make me look a fool, man. I mean, next door is next door.
Excuse me, Inspector. I think I can see why you're confused.
Confused? I've never been less confused in my life.
That's true, sir.
My father used to live in the main house. When I came here, I couldn't bear it in there. There was a terrible atmosphere. So many deaths over the last few years. So, I decided it was time to shut it up.
Ah, I see. Yes. And did you discover what was making the noise?
No, you misunderstand. I closed the main house and I opened up the west wing. We are now in the west wing. Previously,
present at most of the deaths, Inspector. It was regrettable. They seem to happen under your nose. I'm afraid you seem to bring the same sort of bad luck to people as I do myself. Whenever I step over the doorstep, they seem to drop like flies.
Yes, I thought we were supposed to be resting until your nautical spells had passed.
Oh, I'm beginning to feel much better now, thank you, Inspector. Quite back to my old self.
I'm so pleased. I have to confess, Mrs. Haltide, I don't actually recall the Colonel ever mentioning he had a daughter.
It's hardly surprising, sir.
I beg your pardon?
It's hardly surprising that you don't remember it, what with you having so much on your plate, sir.
Ah, yeah. Right.
I'm afraid my father and I never really saw eye to eye. I think he secretly hankered after a boy.
Really? Oh, I didn't realise he was that way inclinated. Perhaps a career in the Royal Navy would have suited him better.
We hadn't spoken for a number of years. When I read of his death, I was mortified. I felt terribly guilty and sad that we just drifted apart from each other.
There you are, Miss Maple. You must drink it. Shock may set in if one dehydrates.
Oh, thank you, dear. I don't suppose you happen to want a splash of rum in it, did you?
No, would you like me to?
Oh, no, dear, don't trouble yourself. I'll be absolutely fine. I have the constitution of an ox. Now, Inspector, I fear I owe you an apology.
Ah, that's quite all right. Just make sure you take more care when on your bicycle next time, because not all motorists have my lightning-fast reflectives.
No, I mean about the deaths that occurred here last year. I'm told my sister behaved extraordinarily badly. I'm afraid she always was the black sheep of the family.
Ah, a sheep in a family of foxes, eh?
I said ox, Inspector.
Yes. Mrs. Haltide, what exactly were the circumstantials of your father's death?
I think you should know those better than I, Inspector. You were present, I believe.
I understand his wife Margaret was the chief suspect. I believe she thoughtfully left a short note of condolence. Perhaps the way she pinned it to his chest with a pitchfork rather spoiled the scent.
I remember, yes.
Please, Inspector. Despite everything, she is still my mother.
Yes.
She can't help her illness. Well, if she'd broken an arm or something, people would understand.
Why do you think she's broken her arm? Have you seen her recently?
Oh, no, of course not. I'm just saying she needs help.
Exactly, and that's why she needs to be caught. I won't rest until she is caught and reincarbonated in the sanctimonium for the inane. Now, returning to the matter in hand, let me see. Ah, yes, the painting. Where was the painting you usually kept?
Painting?
Yes, the missing constable. I assume it was one of his landscapes.
No, sir, I think you might be backing up the wrong tree there, sir.
Why would I park up a tree?
No, I think you might be wrong about the painting.
Oh, I
sir.
think not, Constable, I think not. I carried out some research before coming up here, and according to the Little Pratt's Junior Encyclopedium, Constable was a well-known landscape painter. Indeed, the haystack was one of his better efforts.
It's one of our men, sir.
The painting of one of our men. Oh, dearie me, dearie me. How sad it is to see a once proud police force descending on a slippery slope.
No, sir, I'm not with you.
Well, according to my researchings, man Constable's been dead for a while, over a centurion. He couldn't possibly have painted one of our men.
No, sir, it's one of our men that's gone missing. Constable Atkins. He hasn't been seen for 2 days, sir. We're quite worried about him.
There's no painting.
No, sir.
Why did you tell me there was? Mrs. Maple, what were you doing coming up to the house when you reversed into my car?
Well, I've been revisiting my nephew for 2 days. Such a nice young man, apart from one or two rather unpleasant little habits. When I returned this morning, I heard a little gossip.
Really? And who was the little gossip?
The gossip was an event, Inspector, not a